If you're looking to dive into topics on how to live a happier, healthier, more fit and long lifespan, then you've come to the right podcast. Living the Dream with me, Coach Damian Evans. Together, we will explore the topics on all things health, fitness, and wellness. Together, we will be lifelong learners on this journey to living the ultimate dream. What up, Dream Team? Coach D here coming at you from beautiful sunny San Diego, and I'm here with our beautiful co-host, Jamie Martinez.
What's up, guys?
And we are back with some more questions from the Living the Dream team. But before we get to the questions of the day, we're going to go over some current events and some wins and struggles over the past week. What do we got as far as current events in our lives, Jamie?
Well, I was able to make a trip up to Disney. Yay. It had been too long. I think it had been a couple months. And if you don't know, I am a huge, huge fan. It was our family's vacation every year. So yes, I do have a season pass because we live in San Diego. It's a little over an hour drive away. So definitely have to get that in. So that was fun and much needed. And the best part, it was a Tuesday. It was the least crowded I think I've seen it in a couple of years, right? Like now with Disney, you have to make a reservation before you go. You have to log into the app and make sure that there is a spot for you to go up to either start the park at Disney or California Adventure. Whereas in the past, I missed the good old days being able to just pop up anytime that you felt like it, that you could. But it was incredible. Example, Space Mountain, the line was 15 minutes. The new Toontown ride, the Mickey and Minnie Railway, was 15 minutes as well. So truly, like, you could just walk on to most of the big new ones. It was just very exciting. It was nice to not feel overly crowded for once. What else? I got a new laptop. Boom. You guys, my old one was from 2012. And it was at the stage where I would have to always have it plugged in. If it was at 80% battery life, but I took it off the charger, it would just crash on me. So I was getting nervous that I was going to lose all of my things. So I had to pull the trigger, and I was able to get the back to school special. I ordered it online, even though I am definitely not a student anymore. So pro tip there, if you order it online and have them send it to your house, I don't know, I got away with it. So that was cool.
Yeah, and everything you do for work at the gym is on your computer, so you deserve it. That's a big time investment in, the stuff that we do on a daily basis. So I was happy that you got that. I was happy to see you kind of playing with it. So that's great. All those new features, really cool stuff. For me, we just had our first clinic at our new studio. We did it all on back pain. So how to get freedom from back pain, how to strengthen the core and make sure that you use the right muscles to help avoid getting back pain, and it was super well received. We had a great showing. I put a lot of work into it, and at the very end, I put together this whole email that had a bunch of content to help people do homework at home, some yin yoga flows, podcasts that I've done on pain. So if you're interested and you have lower back pain or you experience any kind of pain in the back, let me know and I can send you that email. Just give me your email and I can send that over to you. Also, our gym is going to be hosting a animal flow certification at the end of this month that we're really excited about. If you haven't heard of animal flow, it's a ground-based bodyweight movement that combines elements of yoga, gymnastics, and animal-inspired movements to create dynamic bodyweight workouts. This is a fitness practice that's designed to improve mobility, to improve strength with your body weight, and overall wellness through actions that mimic the movements of animals. It's really, really cool. So if you're interested in a certification in that, Jamie and I are going to be hosting it at the Del Mar Sweat Circuit location. Let us know. We can get you a huge discount because we're going to be the hosts of that. Sweet. Let's move on to the wins and the struggle of the week. Jamie, what are your wins and struggles from the last week or so?
My win was actually hitting my movement goal, getting my 12,000 steps every single day. And on some days I was able to exceed that. So that was really exciting. I was struggling with that for a little bit there. So pumped I was able to get that back in gear, back on the regular. My struggle, I have been over-consuming caffeine and over-consuming alcohol. Yep, I have to admit it. I've been having a lot of fun this summer, which is great, right? That's part of life, and we should have lots of times, lots of moments to enjoy it, spend time with our friends. But it's getting a little excessive over here. So that's my focus this week. Stop having multiple coffees. Normally I'm just a one coffee person right in the morning, that bulletproof, but I was finding myself having that energy dip later in the day, and I wanted to just give myself a little upper, so I would have another one, and just drinking lots of wine, extra wine at night. Every time I'm cooking dinner, I love to have that glass of wine in my hand. So just trying to break that little habit and cut down on both of those things.
Beautiful. I like that. And for me, I feel like I finally got my feet underneath me when it comes to my daily routine and getting into the flow of this new studio and everything. I'm slowly learning what the most efficient schedule it is for myself to be able to get the most work that I can done, and also then find some balance and some time for some decompression, which is nice. It's always nice to find a new routine and get into the flow for that. So I'm kind of excited about that. My struggle is I have gone completely rogue on my training program. I haven't gone completely rogue in a really, really long time. I'm usually kind of dialed in on my hypertrophy training that I go to the gym. I go to like a 24-hour fitness or an LA Fitness, and I kind of just do my own thing. And I do heavy resistance training, higher reps, lower weight, stuff that's more like a bodybuilder pumping exercise type routine. But because we've got this new gym and I really, really love the program, I'm kind of just doing the sweat circuit workouts, minimal lifting, which I haven't really done in a long time. So I'm a little concerned at how that's going to affect my body, but just trying it out. I'm also adding in basketball shooting sessions and sauna. I've got the sauna routine down right now. So I'm doing like 4, maybe even 5 sauna sessions a week at 20 minutes. Really, really enjoying that. It's a great time to just kind of be with my thoughts. So I'm kind of a little bit apprehensive about going off a routine that I've done for the last 10 plus years. But, they say the body loves novelty, so I'm excited to see what happens when it comes to this. And I really do enjoy the sweat circuit workouts. And just one of the biggest benefits of group fitness is that you don't have to really think about anything. You just go in, follow what is on the screen, adjust to how you need to adjust for you personally in the moment, and kind of just go with the flow. So that's kind of where I'm at with my struggle, but I'm kind of just seeing where it lies. And before we get to the questions of the day, I want to remind everyone that we do a weekly newsletter for the Living the Dream team. So if you're interested, this newsletter contains all things movement, lifestyle, nutrition. We add in recipes for really cool, healthy recipes. We add in clickable links. So I'll share my favorite things that I learned that week when it comes to podcasts, audiobooks, papers, whatever it may be. And you can click what I share and it will take you directly to the podcast or the audiobook or the recommendation or whatever it is. So if that sounds like that would be something interesting to you, let me know. I can put you on the email list and get you that ASAP. Also, we are doing the Accountability Club still, and with the Accountability Club, great program that we started on January 1st. Each week we set 3 small goals, one in your personal life realm, one in your physical activity realm, and one of your nutrition realm, and we set out to achieve that goal, and we hold each other accountable. We have an optional 1 time a week Zoom call meeting where we can talk about our challenges and successes and all that good stuff. So great way to keep yourself accountable, keep yourself rolling. I make sure that I send you weekly reminders to set your goals. I'm just that guy that's there to help you whenever you need. We have a whole Slack channel where I post health and fitness content. It's a really, really cool club to be a part of. $50 a month. If you're interested, let me know and I can get you onboarded as soon as possible. We do a new goal every Monday, so I can get you onboarded by the next Monday. So newsletter and Accountability Club. Would love to have you join. Let's move on to the questions of the day. We got 1 question in lifestyle, 1 question in physical activity and movement, and 1 question in nutrition. Let's go with question number 1.
Question number 1. I'm in the market for a new pair of shoes. What kind of shoe should I buy?
I love this question. And we did a huge, I think it was my longest masterclass episode that I ever did a long time ago, maybe a couple years ago, on the anatomy of the foot, how the anatomy of the foot has changed based on the shoes that we wear, and what was the evolution of the shoe. How did the shoe start, and how did it get to where we are now, and how shoes affect our everyday lives, and even pain when it comes to pain up the chain, your knees, your hips, your low back, even up to your shoulders and neck. So if you're interested, check the description of this episode, and we will include the link to that masterclass episode that we did a while back. But for this question, we received this question, I believe it was in the studio the other day, and someone was asking me about the best shoes to wear because they see that Jamie and I wear Vivo barefoot shoes, and they were wearing these Hoka shoes that have this big old cushion on the soles, and they were having a hard time doing balance work like single leg RDLs and step ups on the bench. So they asked me after class, like, what shoe should I wear? I'm in the market. I don't know what to go with, and I think it's important to think about how the human foot should perform and how it should look and why they don't really look or perform that way anymore. The human foot is designed to be this strong, flexible, and highly adaptive body part. Ideally, it should have a natural arch that is supported by the muscles underneath your foot. And it should be able to spread the toes and grip the ground just like your hand. And it should be able to move through a full range of motion. However, due to the widespread use of poorly fitted restrictive footwear, our feet have deviated from their natural state. I know my feet particularly is something that I've been really focused on in the last 3 to 6 years, or right around in there. I've always been in basketball shoes, which are kind of like narrow-toed, have a lot of cushion on them. I've always been in soccer shoes, which are even worse. They're like little high heel slippers that have cleats on them and just totally scrunch your toes together. And I mean, most of the modern shoes that we wear have elevated heels and narrow toe boxes and excessive cushioning, which is going to lead to a host of foot problems like plantar fasciitis, bunions, weakened arches, all that kind of stuff that people complain about when it comes to their feet or their ankles or their knees. And additionally, these shoes often inhibit the foot's natural ability to stabilize and to adapt to different surfaces. To restore the natural function of what our feet should look like is going to take a lot of work and a lot of concentration to go away from the years and years of being shoved into these shoes. And something that would really, really blow your mind here is when you think about the incredible number of nerve endings located in the feet. There are approximately 200,000 nerve endings in each foot, making them one of the most nerve-rich parts of the body. This fact is super significant because it highlights the feet's critical role in our overall sensory perception and our balance. The feet are our primary connection to the ground, and these nerve endings provide essential feedback to the brain about the surface that we're walking on or standing on. And this sensory input helps us to maintain our proper posture. It helps us to adapt to uneven terrain, and it helps to make split-second balance adjustments. The choice of shoes that you have significantly affects the information that these nerve endings send up to your brain. Thickly cushioned, highly supportive shoes are going to dull this sensory feedback, potentially leading to a disconnect between your feet and your brain. And over time, this can affect your balance, your gait, and your overall foot health. Understanding the importance of these nerve endings in the feet can encourage people to choose shoes that allow for more natural sensory input. Shoes with minimal cushioning and a flexible sole that can help maintain the connection between your feet and the ground. This is going to promote better balance and proprioception, your ability to know where your body is in space. So that's why Jamie and I wear Vivo barefoot shoes. We had no affiliation with them or anything like that, but we tried them out, and I think it's been a game changer, especially because of the wide toe boxes. But let's go over some of the differences between running shoes, lifting shoes, lifestyle shoes, and cross-training shoes. So running shoes, these are going to be designed to do just forward motion. The cushioning and the support are going to be really optimized for heel to toe running because most people heel strike when they run and they don't have perfect running mechanics. So that's going to hurt your foot really bad if you didn't have all that cushioning on the heel. They're not going to be ideal for any type of lateral movements or especially any type of heavy weightlifting. Whereas lifting shoes are probably going to be the exact opposite. These have a stable, raised heel that is going to aid in maintaining an upright posture during squats and other weightlifting exercises. Most people lack the stability or the mobility in their ankles. So what lifting shoes do is they give yourself a little heel platform, which is going to minimize the effects of having a lack of ankle mobility so that you can get lower in a squat. Think of these shoes as you're molding a deficiency in your body so that you are able to do these activities pain-free or optimally. Whereas if you had perfect running mechanics, you could probably run barefoot. If you had perfect ankle mobility, you could probably squat to a depth that is great, ass to grass squat, without having this lifted platform. Let's go over lifestyle shoes. Lifestyle shoes, these are going to be casual for everyday wear, and they're going to lack a little bit of support that the running shoes have. And they're going to lack the features needed for specific athletic activities like lifting. They're going to be more casual. They might even have a smaller toe box, so it looks cooler, it looks more sleek. And then there's cross-training shoes. Cross-training shoes are going to be versatile and suitable for a variety of activities, including any type of weightlifting, cardio, or functional fitness exercises. They're going to provide moderate cushioning. They're going to provide moderate support and provide moderate lateral stability. So they're kind of a jack of all trades here. Barefoot or minimalist shoes, these are going to mimic the experience of being barefoot while providing some protection. They have gained popularity because they encourage natural foot movement, and they also strengthen the foot's intrinsic muscles, and this is going to improve proprioception as well. In order for someone to transition to barefoot shoes, which is what we like to recommend if you're able to spend as much time as you can barefoot, and if you can, get a pair of barefoot minimalist shoes that you can live your everyday lives in. But you wouldn't want to just jump from wearing big cushion shoes for the last 20 years into straight up going all day, every day, 24/7 in your barefoot minimalist shoes. You want to start by transitioning into those barefoot shoes. Start with short periods of wear and gradually increase the duration. You also want to make sure that you focus on strengthening your feet and ankles through different types of exercises. And we've posted a bunch of that on our Living the Dream podcast page, and also on our YouTube video. If you would like, we can share those with you. And you also want to pay attention to your running or training form to avoid overuse injuries. So if you're going to be running in barefoot shoes, that's something that you need to take very slowly. Maybe you just go a quarter of a mile and then you see how that affects you and how you respond, and then you increase the duration, and slowly over time you get to a place where you can run for miles at a time, and maybe you even get a little bit of instruction from someone who knows running form. Barefoot shoes are optimal for activities that prioritize natural foot movement, so walking, running on soft surfaces, and any type of functional fitness training. Things like what we do at Sweat Circuit or any of the other group fitness places that we've trained at. Definitely recommend barefoot minimalist shoes. They're not going to be suitable for long distance running or high impact sports for most people. Like, you wouldn't want to go play basketball in these. Let's talk about some common mistakes when choosing shoes. One would be ignoring proper fit. You have to ensure that your shoes are the right size and the right shape for your feet. Also, sacrificing function for style. A lot of people prioritize fashion over the functionality of the shoe. You're getting the shoe for a purpose, and that purpose should be to help you perform in everyday life. So prioritize functionality over the way that it looks. Also, not considering activity-specific needs. You got to choose the shoe that is tailored to your intended activity. So if you're looking for functional cross-training, like this person that was asking us at the studio, you're going to want to find a shoe that gives you all of the things that you need for that intended activity. For me, when I'm looking for the best cross-training shoe, this is going to offer me a balance of all the things that I'm looking for. You're looking for the amount of cushioning that is best for what you're looking for. You're looking for support, stability, and then also flexibility. So for me, I want to be able to feel the ground underneath of my foot so that I can have those intrinsic foot muscles. I can have all those nerve endings be able to sense what's going on underneath my shoe so that it can tell my brain how to adequately respond. I don't want a huge cushion that's going to put me off balance, that's going to have all this masking of what's going on underneath the shoe. I want to have support, but not so much support that it's not flexible enough to move. So if I take my shoe in my hand, I want to be able to bend that shoe all the way on top of itself. If it's so stiff that you can't bend that shoe, then that's probably not going to be the best for this type of training that you're doing. Yes, big brands like Nike and Reebok and New Balance, they have great options for that. But I like to look for shoes from Vivo Barefoot, There's also a couple different brands from things like Xero, Xero. Vibram makes a 5-toed shoe that is a little nerdy, but is very, very functional. Vibram is Vibram. And then Mark Sisson, who is this 75-year-old badass who is just amazing. He lives his brand. He teaches people how to live primal, and he is out there playing ultimate frisbee with 20-year-olds. He's killing the game. Mark Sisson is great. If you haven't followed any of his content, he has some really great content. He has a new shoe called Peluva, Peluva. Check out peluva.com and you can see some pretty rad shoes. Now, beware, they're going to have little tiny toes that space your toes out, but they're not as nerdy as the Vibram toes. Other shoes like the Nike Freeze do a really good job. I know a lot of the people at our gym wear the No Bull, Nobull shoes that are great for CrossFit and those type of cross training shoes. So just kind of think about, what are you looking for out of your shoe? There's a bunch of different things that you could be looking for. Versatility, support and stability, comfort, of course, but also like breathability. Does this shoe breathe? Cross training can be intense, leading to sweaty feet, and shoes with breathable material or moisture wicking properties, that's going to help keep your feet dry and reduce the risk of blisters or discomfort. You're also going to want to look at the durability of the shoe. So maybe paying a little bit more for a good quality product is going to last you a little bit longer. That could be something that you want to look at. But whatever shoe that you do choose to go with, definitely recommend Vivo Barefoot the most. That's the one that I've worn for the last 5+ years. It's super important to go barefoot as often as you can. Going barefoot is going to strengthen the muscles of your foot. It's going to strengthen the tendons and the ligaments in your feet, and even up into your calves, your lower legs. It's just so important for your balance and your awareness of where your body is in space. And this is going to reduce the risk of injuries that you may experience, just the more barefoot that you can be. Additionally, it's going to promote natural gait and natural posture, which is potentially going to alleviate any chronic foot pain that is caused by wearing restrictive footwear. So yes, the foot injuries that you may be experiencing could be very frustrating and could have been going on for a long time. And the experts are definitely going to offer you the advice of wearing orthotics and maybe even putting braces on at night so that you can overcome your plantar fasciitis. But these are all just Band-Aids that are masking the underlying cause, and you're not really getting to the root of the situation. So strengthening your feet, even if you go on YouTube and you type in foot strengthening exercises for beginners or follow along foot strengthening exercises, like these are ways that you can earn your way out of foot pain. These are ways that you can become more resilient, because everything that you do stems from the ground up. So having strong foot muscles, having strong ankles and mobile ankles are going to be so important in performing in the gym or living your life pain-free. So definitely recommend going as barefoot as much as you possibly can. And remember, if you want to dive in a little bit deeper on any of this information, check out that masterclass episode we did on the importance of foot health and the evolution of the shoe. Let's move on to question number 2.
Question number 2. I'm worried about my balance and bone density. My mom just fell and broke her elbow. Also, I recently went to the doctor and they told me that I have the beginning stages of osteoperosis. How can I train to get my bone density up and prevent falls?
Oh man, I love this question. I'm so glad that people are taking interest in improving balance and bone density, as it's just so crucial for overall health and preventing falls, especially as we age. I've seen so many situations where people are just taken out by having poor bone density or lack of balance. So let's come up with a plan to help this person address these concerns. I wrote down a few things. Strength training is going to be number 1 here. Engage in weight-bearing exercises. So things such as lifting weights and using resistance bands. These activities are going to stimulate bone growth and increase bone density. When you put stress on the bones, your body has these little cells, these fibroblasts, these myoblasts, these bone-building cells that respond to stress. You're going to want to focus on compound lifts that work multiple muscle groups, things like squats, deadlifts, lunges, big compound movements. You're going to aim for 2 to 3 strength training sessions per week, at least 2 full body strength training sessions a week. If you could go up to 3 full body strength training sessions per week, that would be money. Number 2, weight-bearing cardiovascular exercises. So these activities could be walking, light jogging, dancing, or even hiking. So I love the idea of hiking. I love the idea of rucking, putting a backpack that's weighted on your back if you earn your way to that level. This is going to be an activity that puts stress on your bones and helps to maintain or increase your bone density. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise a week, or 75 minutes of high heart rate, vigorous intensity exercise per week. And this is a huge hack right here. Honestly, hill walking or rucking with a little bit of weight on your back, this is going to be a huge, huge thing that you could put into your lifestyle that is going to help with your bone density. Balance and stability training is a great thing to also think about. So incorporating balance exercises into your routine to help improve stability and reduce the risk of falls, especially later on in life. So exercises like standing on one leg, using a balance board. They actually have these really cool balance boards that you can buy. Or even one of my favorite ways to do this is just to practice things like yoga or Tai Chi. These are going to be excellent options. One of the best things about yoga is that it's great for your balance. You also want to make sure that you do core strengthening exercise. So a strong core is going to be an essential component for balance and stability. Include exercises like any kind of plank variations. Do a plank and then remove a limb. Do plank punches, do up-down planks, do plank leg lifts or plank jacks. Bridges, like floor bridges. You could do a hip bridge with a leg march. You could use a stability ball. I love a physio stability ball here. These are incredible for your core strength. If you do a plank on a stability ball and just try to do small circles with your elbows, or if you put your feet on a stability ball and try to hold a high plank, like try to do that for 45 seconds and tell me your core is not on fire. Great way to work on your balance, your shoulder, your ankle, your hip mobility. All this stuff is going to be a great thing to work on with that stability ball. And it costs like $20 from Amazon. I would love it if most people just put a stability ball in their living room. My dad actually uses a stability ball for his mobility. He'll do back bends on it. And he says it's one of the greatest things that he can do for back pain, to keep himself able to be in spinal extension, which is the opposite of what our bodies are in most of the day, spinal flexion. Grab a stability ball. Definitely a huge hack right there. Also, consider proper nutrition. Ensure that you're getting adequate calcium and vitamin D in your diet. Calcium-rich foods like dairy products, leafy greens, along with vitamin D from sunlight or supplements, these are going to be great and essential for bone health. Also, adequate protein. We talk about this all the time, but protein is another huge thing that we want to look at here. Protein is crucial for bone health and muscle maintenance. Include lean sources of protein such as poultry, fish, beans, and even tofu into your meals, lentils, that kind of stuff. Make sure that you have adequate amount of protein. Also, stay hydrated. Proper hydration is going to be essential for overall health, including your bone health. Aim to drink enough water throughout the day. A great starting goal would be to look for your body weight divided by 2 ounces and drink that in water a day. And then also reduce your risk factors. So avoid things like smoking. Limit your alcohol intake. I know that's not fun, that's not sexy, but these can negatively affect your bone density. Be cautious with the medications that you take as well, because some medications contribute to bone loss. So you'll have to consult a healthcare provider for guidance on that. And then obviously you're going to want to do regular checkups with your doctor. If you're told that you're in the beginning stages of osteoporosis, you want to make sure that the things that you're currently doing are getting you either to maintain where you're at, or improve, or at least not going in the wrong direction. So getting a test to see where you're at, a baseline, and then retesting every 6 months or so, making sure that you're on the right track, and then having someone to talk to if you are deviating off track to be able to make decisions on what you can do and take a lot of the tips that we're saying right here and put those into your life and be a little bit more serious or disciplined when it comes to this stuff. So if you're making a small effort and it's really not getting you where you want to go, you got to make sure that you're a little bit more disciplined on a lot of these things that we're talking about. And then if this was a client of mine that was coming to me asking about how they should train, one of the things that I would do is I would do unilateral training. Unilateral training involves exercises that focus on one side of the body at a time. These exercises, such as single leg squats with a TRX, or lunges, Bulgarian split squats, one arm dumbbell rows, these are going to challenge your balance. They're going to challenge your stability. And it's going to do this by requiring you to support your body or lift weights with just one side while the other side is staying stable. This type of training can help improve balance, reduce muscle imbalances, and strengthen the bones in a functional way. Also, I would put into their practice, which is a little controversial, plyometrics. Plyometric exercises, also known as jump training, involve quick, explosive movements like jump squats, box jumps, and even things like burpees. That's right, I said it. That's a 4-letter word in the fitness industry, burpees. Plyometrics can improve bone density by subjecting your bones to rapid and intense forces. The concept of hormesis works really well here. You're putting a stress onto it so that it then rebuilds bigger, better, and stronger. Now, these plyometrics, they should be performed with caution and with proper form, especially if you're new to this type of exercise or especially if you have joint issues. It's really, really important, if you don't know how to do plyometrics, to consult a fitness professional to incorporate plyometrics safely into your routine. So this could be where hiring a personal trainer or a coach for just one session, just to make sure that you have things right, could be really beneficial here. It's controversial because people will throw in plyometrics into programs. Like, this is where P90X kind of went rogue and kind of went wrong, is they would just throw a bunch of plyometric exercises into their routine to make it fun and spicy and to kick people's butts. But people were doing plyometrics that really shouldn't be doing plyometrics, and they were doing plyometrics for cardio when plyometrics should be for force production. They should be for power. They should be done in a state where you're not super fatigued. So they need to be done the right way. And plyometrics can be progressed and regressed. They can go all the way down to holding onto a TRX, doing a squat, and coming up with the intention to jump, but not actually leaving the floor. You're still using the fast twitch muscle fibers that are initiated in a jump, but you're not going all the way to where your feet leave the ground. It's all about the intention, the power, the mindset of, I'm going to try to get up as fast as I can. But there are some people that should not be jumping. There are some elderly people, there are some people with injuries that are not at that point yet. Can they earn their way to get to that point? In my opinion, yes. If you start at the lowest regression that you are ready for and you slowly progress and progressively overload over time and to get to the place where you can, then yes, I think that you should be able to. But plyometrics should not be avoided. So when doctors or when people that go to get help for injuries are told that they should never jump ever again, or that they should not be doing jump squats, or blah, 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 this is to protect the physician. This is to protect the people that are giving this information. This is not for your best interest. If you don't use it, you will lose it. And the longer that you lose it, the harder it is to gain it back. And I think that these fast twitch muscle fibers are super important for you to have. So being able to start where you are and train to get there, this is going to be a way for you to help improve your bone density. This is going to be a way for you to help improve your speed and your power, which are things that you lose as you age. Just making sure that you do it correctly. And that could be another podcast in itself. Another thing that you want to think about is, for your bone density, spending more time on the floor. Spending more time on the floor and getting up and off the ground can be so beneficial for not only your exercise, but for balance and mobility. Practicing getting up and down from the floor is going to help maintain functional mobility, and it's going to reduce the risk of falls when they inevitably will happen. Incorporate gentle floor exercises like seated leg lifts, hip bridges, seated rotations, things like that into your routine. This can be especially useful for older adults looking to maintain independence and mobility. The more you get up and off the floor, the better. Also, it's super important to think about becoming anti-fragile. Becoming anti-fragile means becoming more resilient and more adaptable to stressors, both physically and mentally. So to achieve this, gradually increase the intensity of your workouts, progressively overload, and this is going to expose your body to controlled stresses, which can make your bones and your muscles more resilient. So don't shy away from discomfort. Also incorporate mindfulness practices like meditation or yoga to reduce stress, as chronic stress can negatively impact bone density. Yes, chronic stress can negatively impact bone density. It can do this through hormonal changes, releasing stress hormones like cortisol. It can do this through reduced nutrient absorption. When you are chronically stressed, you don't absorb nutrients as well. So when you eat the food, you're not absorbing all the nutrients that you should, and that's going to affect your bone density. It's going to affect your muscle tension and imbalances, because when you stress, it often leads to muscle tension, which is going to contribute to poor posture, which is going to contribute to aches and pains, which is going to contribute to you not moving as much. Decreased physical activity is going to be a huge contributor to your bone density. So all of your high chronic stressed states, that will definitely have an impact on bone density. Your disrupted sleep patterns, when you stress a lot, you don't sleep well. And we all know that we recover best in your sleep. And the inflammatory response that stress has on your body, that's going to be a huge, huge factor in why stress affects bone density. So having mindfulness practices, meditation, yoga, time out in nature, yes, in an indirect way, this can help your bone density. And don't forget to include stretching and flexibility exercises to maintain your joint health and mobility. Doing things like yin yoga at night, YIN. Yoga is a great way for deep stretches to make sure that you maintain your flexibility. One mind-blowing fact about bone density that can be incredibly motivating is that bones are not static structures. They are dynamic and responsive to your lifestyle and your physical activity. This means that your efforts to improve your bone density can lead to tangible and relatively quick results. Here's the fact. When you engage in weight-bearing exercises such as strength training and impact activities like jumping or jogging or rucking or hiking, your bones respond by becoming stronger and denser. In fact, studies have shown that as little as 6 months of targeted exercise can lead to measurable improvements in bone density. This means that with the right exercise routine and lifestyle changes, you have the power to significantly increase your bone density and reduce your risk of fractures and osteoporosis. It's a remarkable testament to the body's ability to adapt and improve. And it should serve as a powerful motivation to take proactive steps towards enhancing your bone health. All right, let's move on to question number 3, our nutrition question.
Question number 3. I'm excited about this one. We truly have been talking about this the last 2 days nonstop at our current gym. So the question, our gym is doing a protein challenge for extra credit this week. What are some protein tips and tricks to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight?
Yes, the protein, it's back. It's always going to be back. It's such a huge focus. So 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight. So if my goal weight is to be 150 pounds, then our goal should be to get 150 grams of protein per day on average throughout the whole week. The more that we can hit this goal, the more it pulls a huge lever that's going to have a whole bunch of other factors fall into place. Now, when we have our clients go for this goal, it's super challenging. The average American consumes about 40 to 60 grams of protein a day. It gets a little bit less as you get older and as you move your way into the female category. Like people eat less protein when you go in that direction. So we ask our clients to get this amount of protein. And usually it takes months of us doing trial and error and giving tips and tricks. And it's a huge lifestyle change to even try to get up to 100 grams of protein. So the minimum that we should be eating, in our opinion, is 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that's 140 grams. If you weigh 100 pounds, that's 70 grams of protein. So how do we get at least that much and shoot for that much and then up to 1 gram per pound of body weight? It's a tough thing to do. The person that most recently talked to us in our gym said that they intermittent fast, and that means that they skip breakfast and they don't eat until maybe 12 or 1 or even up to like 2, and then they have a shortened eating window. And of course, if you're going to try to cram in a bunch of protein into that small eating window, it's going to be a challenge. You're probably going to feel full, bloated. You're probably going to feel like it's a challenge to even eat that much food. So, Jamie, let's just go back and forth and talk about different tips and tricks that we've offered people in the past. Like, what's the number one thing that you tell people to do when they ask you this question?
So, where I typically start with my clients that are struggling in this area, which is most, right? Like you said, this is not easy to do. You definitely have to go into it with a plan. So, when I'm first starting out with a new client, I set a minimum goal of their breakfast, right? If you start your day with a solid amount of protein, then you don't have to worry about playing catch up all day long. Whereas if you start with a super small breakfast, you're just setting yourself up to fail. So I always say minimum goal at the first meal of the day is 20 grams, but shooting for 30, that would be the ideal. But again, it's going to take time. So shooting for 20 to start, but thinking that 30 is where we typically really want to be at.
Yeah, and just like if we were trying to get a water goal, we would front load it in the day so that we're not scrambling at the end of the day to chug it all in at the end. That's a great hack. Breakfast should be a huge launching point for your protein. Shoot for 30 grams if you can get up to 30 grams. In fact, that's one of the ones that I wrote down. Space out all of your meals so that you can get 30 grams at each sitting. So every time you eat food, get 30 grams of protein in. That should be your focus. And there's ways for you to do this. You can make a list of all the types of foods that you like that have high protein and how much of that food do you need to eat to get 30 grams. And then every time you sit down for a meal, you can have that protein. And then you can kind of fill in the other places of the meal, whether it be the fiber, whether it be the carbs and the fats. That can be the way that you have the base of your meal. So at least 30 grams at each sitting. And science proves that if you are trying to get more muscle mass, it does help to space out your meals every 2 to 3 hours. If you're someone that's like me, who is lower weight, trying to build muscle, mostly in a calorie deficit all their life and having trouble building muscle, then spacing out your meals bodybuilder style, where you eat maybe 5 to 6 meals a day with 20 to 30 grams of protein in each meal, this could be a great way for you to build muscle. Now, if you're someone that's obese, have hundreds of pounds to lose, you're not going to need to have the 6 meals a day. 2 to 3 meals a day is fine. And if you're super obese, your goal shouldn't be to eat your body weight in grams. It should be either your desired body weight. So if I'm 300 pounds and I want to get down to 150, maybe it's the 150. Or maybe you just use your height in centimeters. If you're 180 centimeters tall, you can use that as a gauge too, if you're someone that's on the more obese side.
A quick little breakfast idea to get you up above the 20 grams of protein. Think each whole egg is 6 grams of protein. An egg white drops down to just 4 grams. So even if you had 3 full eggs, that puts you at 18 grams. If you went and got Ezekiel tortillas, one of those is 7 grams. So that bumps you up to what? Is that 25? Math hard, really fast. But right there, you're already above the 20 grams. If you added a little cheese, if you had some Greek yogurt, some cottage cheese, that will definitely bump you up above the 30 grams right there.
Yeah, and Greek yogurt is like one of my favorite go-tos. It's easy. You have just a little thing, a container that you can just chow down whenever you need. Things like bone broth that you can put into your cooking meals. Like I know you do a really good job of adding bone broth to a lot of the stuff that we cook for dinner. Something that I had no idea until I started looking up high protein foods. If you're on the vegetarian side, like edamame has a pretty good protein to calorie ratio. Shrimp is like all protein. There's very few calories to high protein. So if you can toss shrimp onto some of your foods, salads, great way to spice up a salad. And then we like Magic Spoon cereal as a way to curb our childhood cravings of not only cereal, but sweets. And if we're short of our protein goal at night, yeah, Magic Spoon cereal is just a little bit expensive. It's like $10 a box. Discount codes all over the place. We use Mind Pump's discount code, Mind Pump, MINDPUMP, but there's tons of discount codes for Magic Spoon cereal. You could have a bowl of cereal with some whole milk, and that's going to be a huge protein boost at the end of your day. And it kind of curbs your appetite for any kind of sweet cravings that you might have. So that's a really big hack there that we like to use. And I know a lot of people can't handle milk, but if you look into the company Fairlife, they actually have a great quality milk. They actually have these Fairlife single serving shakes at Costco that you can buy that have a great macro breakdown. Actually, a really good quality milk. We buy their whole milk. We buy their chocolate milk. Definitely look into that if that's something that you can handle. Not everyone can handle dairy, but it's a huge way to boost up your protein. If you add a little glass of milk to your meals, great way to get your protein up.
You could even put some Greek yogurt or cottage cheese, mix it into your scrambled eggs. That right there, it makes them a little bit creamy, and it's just going to pack in a little extra protein. Another little tip that I like to share with my clients, or try to rethink your meals. Like, I feel like we've put things in little boxes where you're only allowed to eat certain foods at breakfast and lunch and dinner, but don't be afraid to have the big, whole, real protein at breakfast as well. I love to do this, but I'm also a big leftover fan. I realize not everyone is down for that, but if we ever have leftovers from the night before, say it's ground beef, it's ground turkey, it's chicken, whatever it is, I'll save it and then I'll add it into my eggs the next day at breakfast. And that right there is going to bump you up super high as well.
All right, so let's leave it at that. Some really good tips and tricks, and hopefully everybody at the gym gets their extra credit for the week by eating 1 gram per pound of body weight and using some of these tips. And if that really doesn't work for you, if none of that stuff works for you, send us a message and we got tons of other content that we can send you. Let's move on to the recommendation of the week. We are going to recommend an app that I've used for years. I am now an affiliate with them because I believe in their product, and that is Brain FM, brain.fm. This is an app that focuses on science-backed music that helps you with sleep, stress, focus, and even meditation. This app is incredible. I use it every time I'm writing an episode for this podcast. I use it every night when I go to sleep for its deep sleep track, and it is noticeable how much better sleep quality I get and sleep quantity I get when I use this app. If you want to use this app, I have a discount code, and I just realized that I've been giving people the wrong discount code for the last year. I've been saying it's Coach Damien _SD, and a bunch of my friends told me that it doesn't work. I am so sorry, guys. I contacted them and they just said it was Coach Damien SD, no underscore. So for those of you that have been trying to use Brain FM and haven't been able to use the discount code, I highly recommend go and try it again. It's brain.fm. Download it on the App Store and then use the discount code Coach Damien SD. And Damien is spelled Damien. You're going to receive a free month and 20% off your first subscription month if you decide to continue on with your subscription. You are not going to regret using Brain FM. We are going to be working with them for years and years to come. They enhance my everyday life, and I know that they can enhance yours. When I use their focus track, I literally it's like time freezes and I go so deep into that work, and I have to set an alarm on my phone in order to get up and move again because I just get so focused on what I'm doing. Yes, I enjoy what I'm doing, but the music and the science-backed music behind the app is so helpful. So check it out, brain.fm. And we're going to leave you with a little quote here from Ron Paul. And Ron Paul said, "Setting a good example is a far better way to spread ideals than through force of arms. We live in a world where forces can often clash, where opinions and ideals can collide head on. But setting a good example is a far better way to spread ideals than through force of arms. How often do we encounter people trying to persuade us with force? Whether it's through aggressive marketing, extreme fitness routines, or strict diet plans, it can feel overwhelming, even intimidating. But what if we shift our focus to leading by example, to inspiring change through the beauty of our own transformations and actions? It's in the small, everyday actions we take that the real power lies. It's in the dedication to our own health, the perseverance through challenging workouts, the choices that we make at the grocery store, and the self-care rituals that we prioritize. When we live our lives aligned with our values, we send out ripples that can create waves of positive change. So how can we apply this wisdom to our own wellness journeys? Start by being the change that you wish to see. Share your success stories. Share your struggles. Share your triumphs. Be a source of inspiration for others. Offer support and encouragement and not judgment. Remember that each step that you take on your path can light the way for someone else to follow. And as we wrap up today's episode, let's reflect on the incredible potential within each of us. Remember that by setting a good example in your own life, you have the power to inspire and to ignite positive change in the lives of all those around you. Thank you all so much for joining us on this journey towards a healthier, happier world. And always remember that setting a good example is a far better way to spread ideals than through force of arms. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening and learning here with us on the Living the Dream podcast. We are so grateful for you being a part of this lifelong learning journey. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, please let us know in the comments or by messaging me on Instagram at CoachDamian_SD. Be kind to someone today, smile at someone today, and leave every person you come into contact with better than before. Until next time, friends, keep living the dream.